I'm joined now by Vladmir Golstein. He's an associate professor of Slavic Studies at Brown University. Vladimir, thanks for joining us. First, let's start with the address. What did you make of President Putin's tone? He seemed to stress unity within Russia, pointing at the political division in other countries. What do you think he was trying to convey?
Well, his tone was very confident. He feels very confident with the country being united, country being behind him, country understanding what he wants to do domestically and in terms of foreign policy. He also probably has this boost in confidence in terms of a new election in the United States. He hopes that he's not going to be challenged that much. So it was confident and conciliatory, and I think it was very astute. He kept on insisting that, we in the foreign affairs and in the foreign sphere want respect. We want to, be treated as equal. We want certain justice, certain parity, and therefore we have to do the same thing domestically. We have to treat every citizen with respect, with giving everyone opportunity to develop. So it was very well constructed speech where he kind of seamlessly merges international Russian standing and position with domestic one, very courageously accepting certain problems. He says economically we're not off the ground yet. There are certain issues we are facing, but we're going to solve them. He addressed the issue of sanctions, but he said the main problem is not just sanctions, but certain domestic problems which we will solve. So this courage to acknowledge the problems and willingness to sort of look forward does show his confidence. And I think that was the main tenor of his speech.
Let's look at the international picture here. He says no enemies. It sounds like he's reaching out in a way to the United States and the European Union. Do you think we can expect or anticipate a real thaw in relations down the road?
I was very much impressed when he said as a model of a relationship, Russian-Chinese relationship. And I think that's another reason which gives him confidence, that he has a backup, he has cooperation, he works well with China. And he basically said, well, that's how we should be treated and that's how we should cooperate. He was somewhat critical of the West, saying that, you used to accuse us of censorship. You used to accuse us of having monopoly on the news, on the economics. Now you're trying to monopolize discourse. You're trying to monopolize. Let's have multifaceted, multifocal world. Let's treat each other with respect. And that's what he says, that it can be done. We work in the same level with China. Why not work on the same level with the EU? Why not try to accomplish something like that with the United States? What he doesn't want to do is, as he stressed again, we don't want to be dictated. We don't want to be lectured. We know our own shortcomings. We know our own strength. So let's deal with each other as equal partners. And I think he has this confidence, the hope that new leadership in the United States will be open to this suggestion.
I want to ask you about Russia's foreign policy decree that President Putin also signed. Had a slightly different tone. It's updating its fight against terrorism, arms control, as you mentioned, relations with China. What can we get by looking at that new decree?
Well, I think again he's forward-looking, and he wants cooperation. That's the main idea, and he's confident again that Russia has a common ground with Europe. Russia has common ground with the United States. Russia should work together in fighting terrorism. He also, while addressing the issue of terrorism, he praised the Russian military forces, stressed that we can actually fight very far away from home. Suggestion, more or less, that we can speak softly, but we can also carry a big stick. So he basically suggests let's talk with each other on equal terms.
All right, Vladmir Golstein.
And that's where he wants to take.
We appreciate your insight. Thank you so much for joining us.